Welcome to part 4 of Replica Supercar Light, and Happy New Year. Today's the 1st, and I've already got my stimulus check, so in fact, it's already spent. Today's episode, we're going to bring you up to speed in regards to everything I've done for the last week. So I want to start in the rear end here, show you a couple of things that, in fact, I just noticed just a couple minutes ago. So this is what I thought it was a 4-bar, but it's actually a 4-bar triangulated. You can see here the lower bar is actually triangulated where the upper bar is straight. Normally it's the other way around. The upper bar here can be triangulated up into the frame, but because of this design, which is really unique, they put much shorter arms there up in the top. So it looks like there's not sufficient angle to center the rear end. So consequently, we have a Panhard bar, and that's the bar down here. Some people call it a track bar. It's a Panhard bar, which is named after the Panhard Motor Company of France, French car manufacturer during the early 20th century. And it stabilizes the rear end and keeps it in place. They're used on larger vehicles like this because the angle of the wheel here is defined by the radius of this point here. That's the arc. So it's got to be pretty long to give it a decent travel. So when I first bought this, I bought the standard width, which was 60 inches. And you can see down here, I chopped it right here and cut 1.5 inches off each side, and then I cut the axles. And I did this because there was only 4 inches of overhang between the face of the axle flange and the outside of the wheel, and you really can't get any kind of decent sized tire in there except stock. So the next frame, which I bought, which it's going to be here the end of February, I ordered it with a mini tub already done, and the axle shortened to 54.5 inches, so you can get them that way standard, and it makes it a heck of a lot easier. So if you're going to run mini tubs and bigger tires, you want to get the shortened axle. That's an option. This, of course, is the 8L90 transmission. The Roadster shop has already designed and built their crossmember right here, which accommodates it perfectly. This is a stock transmission crossmember mounting bracket that comes off a Camaro. They only have one bolt in the bottom. You can't really see it. Yeah, there's one bolt there, which is odd. I don't know why they would only want to have one bolt. I noticed that on the L20 I did. It only had one bolt. So for some reason, the GM engineers don't think it needs two, even though the four-wheel drive version is much beefier. So it looks like my driveline angle is going to be pretty good. And it fits right in there, no problem. Moving forward here, I've got the plate out here because last time I used these mounting plates, and you cannot use a mounting plate for even the LT Gen 5 on this frame because this frame is unique. All these existing adapter plates were designed for an existing frame, such as a C10, or in this case a 67 Camaro, or a Corvette, or a Chevelle. But the Roadster shop chassis is completely unique, and its placement and alignment require their plates to be used. So that was a mistake that I learned, relatively painless. Wanted to show you a little bit of the space. This is an absolutely spectacularly designed frame. I mean, we're down to, I can't even put my pinky in there. This is the Holley 30220 swap pan that's in place, which is mandatory to get these engines, these Gen 5 engines to work. Also right here you can see this is the stock oil cooler, which is used on the trucks. So we've got those in. Also, I don't have it quite squared away yet, but this is the LSX Innovations power steering adapter that goes in place of the vacuum pump. There was normally a vacuum pump that goes right in here and ran off the little pulley over here, which is, I'm not sure why they used it. I don't think that the Gen 5, as far as I know, at low RPM has plenty of vacuum. So it was probably for the trucks for some reason, maybe towing or something like that. This is their application. The other one, in fact, I'm not sure if I'm going to use this or not. All-American Billet makes a really nice one that utilizes that belt, and it's just a simple right angle in there. And I like it, but when I bought this, they weren't available, but now they are. I've got it on my Gen 5 installation guide. I reference it in there if you're interested. This is an LS3, stock LS3 power steering pump, and it doesn't fit. The pulley's a little bit too big here. It needs to be smaller, and so I have to adapt that, but I just want to put that in there so you can see how it fits. It's very compact. I like them low like that. This is the adapter here. If you ever get into this, I've done this a lot of times, and this is a solution to go from a metric fitting. This is a Type 2 pump, metric fitting, to like a Saginaw SAE fitting. So this is AN8 fitting, and that's how you make the jump to hyperspace. You just put that connector in there because there's hardly any room. They're really, really tight. And so this will go up a little bit farther here and get out of the way, but that fits in there really well. Another thing I wanted to point out is on these, on the L83, they moved the water pump from the left-hand side. On the LT4s and LT1, it's on the left-hand side, and on the trucks, it's on the right. Then in 2019 and 2020, they moved them back to the center. So I'm not sure what their thinking is, but what this does is puts everything on the right-hand side of your radiator, so you don't need a swap radiator. You can use a regular radiator. So that's kind of cool. So up in the top here, we have the steam port, which is completely different. Again, it's right in here. They integrated into this point. And on the trucks anyway, this goes into the overflow reservoir, and it has to go back into the radiator system somehow. So I haven't got quite that figured out yet. This is the oil pressure moved from the back to the front here. And I'm not sure what this one is. I think that's not sure if that's cam. This is your CPV, or positive crankcase ventilation. The other thing that's interesting about this is that you have here and here, which is your crankcase. And on the LT1 and LT4, there's a sump right here, and a sump goes down into the... That's a plastic sump, and then it goes into the engine sump. And so after all these years of routing that through the carburetor, they finally decided to stick it where it belongs, back into the oil pan. So these are set up completely different than LS, and you just have to get used to it. It's just different, that's all. Down on the bottom here, this is where the AC is going to go. AC, I took it out, but there's plenty of room for the AC. These are the trans cooler lines, so we're going to utilize those. Then moving around over here on the back, you can quite see down over here, this is the inlet for the positive crankcase ventilation, if you want to use that, if you want to route it. So that's one solution. Up on the top here, there is no vacuum port because the vacuum is down on the vacuum pump has been eliminated. So we'll have to figure out what we're going to use that to run our brakes. So we've got it up on these new frame dollies. I got these the front and the back. Not sure how much weight I'm pulling. Probably 700 pounds and probably another, I don't know, 1,500 pounds, something like that right now. Maybe less than that. So we got the rear brakes done. Those are 4-piston. We got 6-piston in the front and 4 9-inches in. So we just have to button that up. And next week we're moving towards the body shop, and we're going to have a body drop. So hopefully we get some bidding for that. So thanks for checking in. And remember, speed is relative. Floor it.